Good morning, guys. Today we're going to talk about your hyperactive kids. Every parent has got one child who tends to have more energy than their other kids, okay? So we're going to talk about hyperactive kids, how it affects them in school, and the homeopathic approach of how we correct that here in our clinic, okay? So we're going to talk about that, and then I want to go into the top 3 homeopathic medicines that I find most commonly used in our clinic and the indications for their use, okay? So you guys can get something out of this little video. So when it comes to hyperactiveness, you know, a certain amount of energy in kids is normal, right? Kids are always energetic, they're always running around, they're always playing, okay? But when it controls their lives, when it's everything about them, when they can't sit in a desk at school because they're so fidgety, they're jumping everywhere, they're bouncing off the wall, it becomes a problem for mom, dad, and teachers at school, and for the kids themselves because they can't control this, okay? So the way we deal with this is very simple. It's not dealt with by drugging the kids, by dulling the kids down, by making them feel no emotions like typically Western medicine does, okay? Homeopathic medicine, when the right one is selected for the hyperactive child, the child naturally calms down into a natural state of energy. It balances their body and mind out so they just function normally like they should without having this over exertion of energy, okay? So let's go into the top 3 remedies. Let's start with the first one. The first one we see most common that I use here is sulfur 30C. Okay, now I did a quick blog on this, so you could go to my website at www.newleafhomeopathy and check out the blog, and there'll be more detail there on each remedy. Okay, but just a quick overview. Number 1 is homeopathic sulfur and 30 strength. So with sulfur, what we like to see is these kids tend to be extremely curious kids. They tend to want to touch everything. They're very destructive. So these kids, when they come in my office, they will not sit in the chair. They'll be jumping around everywhere. They'll be coming around over here to see what's in my drawers, to see what's on the shelves, and touching everything, right? So very curious kids. We tend to see these kids are obviously very hyperactive also, okay? They tend to be leaders. So you have kids that are more of a follower type personality, and then you have these kids that are more leaders. So sulfur kids who need sulfur are typically always the leaders of the pack. Kids usually follow them, okay? Some physical characteristics we like to see with them in order for this medicine to work for them is they tend to be warmer kids. These are kids who never wear t-shirts, are always running around in shorts, even in the wintertime. They're always hot, they like fans on them, they like the air conditioning on them, they like fresh air, okay? The other thing we like to see is they typically will be more prone to diarrhea, sometimes constipation, but more prone to diarrhea, and they usually have skin symptoms, okay? So they usually either have eczema, psoriasis, or itchiness in general, okay? If you see this combination of symptoms, chances are sulfur is a remedy your child needs, and it will correct the majority of those issues of what I just mentioned, along with the hyperactiveness. And the good thing is, once they're better, you don't need to keep taking the medicine, okay? It actually restores health the way it's supposed to be without needing to take the medicine forever, okay? So, number 2, the second medicine we talk about is veratrum album, okay, in 30 strength. So this is the second most commonly one we use here. Same type of general symptoms, hyperactive child, very restless, moving around nonstop. You know, these are the kids that are bouncing off the walls and cannot calm themselves down to even watch a movie. So they have that. The other little symptoms we like to see that kind of indicate that they need this medicine is these kids will love ice water, okay, or extremely cold drinks, or popsicles, or anything cold or icy. They just have a natural craving for them. So it's an indicator for this medicine. The other thing we see is they love sour fruits. So these are kids that will eat lemons and have no problems. They love sour things too. It's a strong natural craving for them, okay? When they're sick, we tend to see, or we like to see this type of picture of either vomiting and or diarrhea when they get sick or in their natural state. You know, sometimes they're just not feeling well and this happens. So if they are prone to vomiting and or diarrhea, especially at the same time, very, very likely they need veratrum album, okay? The last thing we like to see, it doesn't have to be there, but if it's there, it's a further indicator of this medicine, is extreme perspiration, extreme cold sweating. So either when they're sick or even in a normal state, extreme perspiration, especially on the face and forehead. Okay, so when you see that combination of symptoms, Veratrum album is the #1 remedy for that. Last one, Mercurius syllabus and 30 strength. Okay, so we typically see this type of hyperactive child who's very aggressive, tends to fight and strike and hit. Okay, usually it's after a dose or a round of immunizations or vaccines. Okay, we'll typically see this happen within the month after. Not always, but sometimes it is triggered by that, and that's an indicator of this medicine. A couple things these kids have. Excessive drooling at nighttime, especially in bed. Okay, so these are the kids that, for whatever reason, they'll soak the pillow with saliva. Okay, it's a key indicator for this medicine. Another thing we like to see is their temperatures. They don't like it extremely hot, they don't like it extremely cold. There's a narrow band of temperatures that they feel the most comfortable in. Lastly, with Mercurius, we see a large thirst also. Okay, so these are kind of the things we see with Mercurius. Oh, the last thing for Mercurius, this is a big one also. We see bleeding gums, canker sores, sores in the mouth. You see a lot of mouth affections with these kids. So whether it's cankers, sores, anything in the mouth. Okay, when you see that along with all the other symptoms of Mercurius, great remedy for them. Chances are they need this one, and this will correct the hyperactivity, the anger, the aggression, the hitting, and all that. Okay. So just to give you a little overview, I mean, those are 3 of the top medicines. We have a whole number of medicines for hyperactivity, and it must fit the entire case of the patient. In homeopathy, we don't treat just one symptom, okay? It's taking the whole person into account, everything going on with them, like individual pieces of a puzzle, essentially, is what a person becomes. So once we get all those pieces of a puzzle, digestive issues, sleep issues, hyperactivity, anger, striking, when we get all these symptoms, it forms one picture of a medicine. We give that homeopathic medicine and the body starts to heal without needing the medicine forever and ever and ever. Okay? So if you guys have any questions, give me a call. I treat patients all across the world through Skype consultations. I love to help you guys, or I'll answer any questions you have. Okay? Thanks, guys. Have a good day.